Hi everyone, so in this maths video what we're going to do is look at a sample electricity bill, and this one is taken from the Active Maths 1 textbook. And we're going to try and figure out what each section of that bill means. So there's a bunch of things left blank here. What we're going to do is we're going to try and solve what all the letters here mean: A, B, C, D, E and F. So each of them should have a value. If we go through all of the letters in turn, hopefully then by the end of it we will have a good understanding of what each section of the bill is for. So we'll start with the basics. If we look at the top here, we'll see who the bill is addressed to and what their address is. On the top right, it says what the billing period is. So this electricity bill is from the period of the 5th of May 2010 to the 2nd of July 2010. There's an account number here and some kind of a reference number. You'll usually only need to use a reference number if you're calling up the electricity or gas supplier and there's a problem that you need to discuss. They might ask you for your account number or your reference number. Same thing over here on the left hand side. The meter number given is obviously made up 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That will just be something that you might need to give if there's some kind of a dispute with the people who are in charge of your electricity or gas supply. You might need to give them that for their reference so they know who they're dealing with on the phone. So if we look up here on the top left as well, we'll see meter readings. So this is the present meter reading, what the electricity meter reads at the moment. And this is what it read at the beginning of the period. So to find the electricity used is going to be the difference between what the meter read before and what it's reading at the moment. So we can do that over here on the right hand side. So to find A, it's going to be the difference between those two numbers. 39302 minus 38830. So that gives us a difference of 472 units. Now this is an electricity bill, so you can see here the units used for electricity are kilowatt hours. Now you don't need to remember that, but I would just be familiar with the term in case it was ever to come up. So now we've figured out how many units of electricity were used for this period, or how many kilowatt hours of electricity. We can look down here. So down below, they say what the previous account balance was. It says that they have paid the account balance off, so they did owe €112.39. They said that they paid €112.39, so everything is good. So if we look down here then further below, it gives a list of what they're being charged for. So a standing charge is how much you need to pay just to have the electricity service in your home. So for example, this person, Anita Kyo, pays €25.20 every day to have electricity, even if she doesn't use any of it. So if we want to calculate B then, what we have to think is there's 58 days, and each day she's being charged €25.20. Sorry, 25.20 cents. So for 58 days, it's going to be 58 lots of 25.20 cents. So to get the 58 lots, we're going to multiply it by 25.20 cents. This gives us 1,461.6 cents. Now it might seem weird that we're dealing with percent or a decimal place of a cent here. Normally we don't talk about 0.6 cent or 0.20 cents. But the reason why they deal with this in decimal places of cents for electricity is because electricity is generally pretty cheap. So they keep on adding up all the little fractions of a cent that you're spending to make sure they're getting as much money as they can, basically. Now, if we look at the next blank, It's actually A again because the units or the amount of units used we've already figured out. And we said it was 472 kilowatt hours. Now each of those units costs 14.10 cents. So again, to solve out how much that's going to cost altogether, it'll be 472 lots of 14.1 cents. So we multiply again. So we'll do that over here to the right hand side. And the figure we get is 6,655.2 cents. Now for both the terms B and C, you can see here that they want the amount to be listed in euro because the heading says euros. So what we'll do is just move the decimal place over by 2 for each of these. 1, 2. So that gives us 14 euros and 61.6 cents. Obviously, if we were to round this to the nearest cent, it would be 14.62 then, because 6 would round this up to 2. We'll do the same thing down below for C number. That moves over by 2 places, our decimal does. So we end up with 66 euros and 55.2 cents. So we write that as 66.552 euros. Now, the next subheading we have is the total excluding VAT. So how much all of the electricity bill costs before tax is added on. So to get this figure here, D, the total, what we're going to do is we're going to add the two prices, B and C, together. So B and C together will give us our total D. We can do that down here below. So to get D, it's going to be B plus C, or 14.616 euros, add on 66.552 euros. When we add these together, it gives us a total of 81 euros 0.168 cents. And at this point here, I think that we're okay to round that to 2 decimal places. So like normal, money is just given with 2 decimal places. So our 168 becomes 0.17. The reason why we rounded up to 7 is because the number after 6, so we're looking to keep 6, our second decimal place, and the number after it is 5 or greater. So that means that 6 gets bumped up to 7. If it was 81.164, then this number here would be less than 5. So it would stay as 6 here. If you aren't sure about how to round decimals, just ask me please in class. Now, we know what the total is excluding VAT. D, we've just calculated it. Now for E, what they want us to do is find what the VAT will be. And the VAT is 13.5%. So this is a skill we've practiced a lot in class while studying financial maths. We're going to find 13.5% of the bill. So the bill already was 81 euros and 17 cents. So to find 13.5, we're going to times it by 13.5 over 100. We've turned our percentage into a fraction, and now we multiply it by the number we want to find the percentage of. So the amount of tax we get there is going to be 10.96 euros, or 10 euros and 96 cents. So that's E. And then for F, the very last thing they want us to do is to find the invoice total. So an invoice just tells you how much money somebody owes. So to figure that one out, we're going to have to figure out how much money they owed for electricity, which we said was 81 euros and 17 cents. We're going to add on then how much they owe in tax, which is 10 euros and 96 cents. Overall, this gives us 92 euros and 13 cents. So at this point, we've filled in all those different sections now on that bill. And hopefully we all have a better understanding of what comes into the door when we get our first electricity bill in a few years down the line.